Alright, it's time to go over the homework or this and see if you guys how you did. Did we get some right? We get a few wrong? Do we need to talk about them? And with the solutions videos, I go pretty quickly because most of you are just checking your work. And then if you had something you had no idea how to do, then we probably will talk about that in tutorials, and you can just kind of leave it blank. But make notes on this sheet. If there was something really tricky, circle it so that when I meet with you, or if I'm meeting with you this week, then we can go over that, okay? So the first part of the homework gives you a list of numbers and says to classify them as rational or irrational, and then to put them on the number line. So the first number that has been given to us is the square root of 20. So the first thing I want to do is approximate it and then decide if it's rational or irrational, okay? Now 20 is not a perfect square, meaning I can't do like a number times an exact number and get 20. I know that 4 times 4 is 16. I know that 5 times 5 is 25. So it's somewhere between 4 and 5. So maybe it's like about at 4.5, but that's really some decimal that I don't know. And since this wasn't a perfect pretty number right here, I can't write that as a fraction. So I'm going to call that an irrational number, I for irrational. And then I need to go to 4.5 on the number line or something close to it, and I'm going to do root 20. Okay? The next number is 10/3. So for 10/3, it's an improper, and I need to turn it into a mix. So 3 goes into 10 3 times. There's 1 left over, so that would be the same as 3 1/3. Now that is a fraction. It was already written as a fraction, so it's definitely a rational number. Do that irrational, rational. And then that is 1 2 3 1/3. So 3 1/3 is past the 3 and then about 1/3 of the way from 3 to 4. Okay, so that's going to go there. Let's do the next one in blue. Negative 4.3. Okay, well the negatives mean I need to be over here, and I'm going negative 4 and then another 0.3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another 0.3, which is about right there. So that's where that number is going to go. I'm going to call that a rational number, guys, because 0.3 is the same thing as 3/10. Remember that that's in the tenths place of the decimal. So this is really 4 3/10, and that's definitely a fraction, so I'm going to call it rational. Okay? All right, what's next? Pi. Okay, pi is one that I gave you on the notes, and you may not know exactly what it is, but I know we called it irrational, and I know that it was 3.14 blah 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 blah. So just go a little bit past 3 and put it, and it's even going to be closer to 3 than that red one, so it should look something like that. The next one is negative 13/5. So negative 13/5. Okay, so 5 goes into 13 twice with a remainder of 3. So this is really negative 2 3/5. Well, it's written as a fraction, which makes it rational. And negative 2 would be go over 1, go over 2, and then we need to go 3/5 of the way over. Okay, 3/5, if I imagine cutting this into 5 little pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, that's terrible, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, that's right, okay, so I need to go 3 of those over, so it's about right there. Okay, and then the last one is the square root of 9. Well, the square root of 9, change colors again, the square root of 9 is a perfect pretty number, so I'm going to call it rational, because there is a number when you multiply it by itself that it equals 9, and that number is 3. So we're going to write on the 3, we're going to have the square root of 9. So there's a few of them grouped up, and that just looks like fun. Okay, on number 2, it says create your own fractions to, what is that saying? Create your own fractions to fit on the number line. Okay, so what we're going to do here is, let's see if I can erase this. Okay, it's going to be kind of tricky on this one to see like exactly where I put those dots, And there's a lot of answers. Let me be clear. There are a lot of answers to these that are correct. So if you don't have the exact same thing that I do, that's okay. I'm just probably going to have to check yours. So the first dot I see looks to be about here. Now, it's somewhere between -4 and -5, so it's a -4 point something. I don't know. It's whatever you think. You know, if you imagine this being broken into 10 pieces, I would probably think it's about 7 pieces over. And so I'd call it a -4.7. The next one is right here, right before the -4. I would probably call that it's somewhere between -3 and -4. So it's going to be -3 point something, and it's going to be closer to 4. So maybe it's like a -3.8, something like that. The next one is right on the dot right here. So that one's, hopefully everybody got that. That's just -2. There's one that's just past 1. And that one, I mean, that's actually really, really close. I'd probably call that like a 1.1. Then there's one that's at here, okay, like, get rid of those little dots. I don't know why I have all those extra dots. This one that's just a little bit past 3, it's a little bit farther than pi. So if you put pi, you might want to adjust. I think it looks like it's about 1/3 of the way past 3. So I'd probably call it 3 1/3. And then I think that's the last one I see. Yeah, that's the last point that I see. So that's probably what you could have done on those, okay? The next one wants you to do a math operation and then put the answer on the number line. So you just got to do a little math first, but it won't be bad, I promise, okay? So hopefully it went okay for you. So 5 minus 2, we all know is 3. So boom, baby, right there. That one's easy. 1 minus 5. Okay, some of you already know that the answer is -4. If you didn't know that, you start, this is a +1, so start at +1, and then it's take away 5. So we need to go backwards 5 since it's a minus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you should have ended up right there. The next one is 1.35 plus 2.5. So this was just a refresher, and do you know how to add your decimals? So you could put a 0 on that, and then just 5 plus 0. 3 plus 5 is 8. Bring down your decimal point, and then 1 plus 2 is 3. So 3.85. So it's probably going to go about right there. And the last one is 1/2 plus 3/4. 1/2 plus 3/4. Okay. Some of you, if you think about it in terms of money, it's easier because ½ of a dollar is like 50 cents. Plus another 3/4 of a dollar, that's 75 cents. That might be easier for you. But I'm going to show you with common denominators just in case you like to do that. The common denominator is a number that both of these go into. Now both of these denominators go into the number 4, so I'm going to write both of them with a denominator of 4. Now this one on the right I didn't have to change, so I'm going to recopy it. And 2 goes into 4 twice, so since I multiplied that by 2, I need to multiply the top by 2. And then you can just add the top plus the top is 5/4. The bottom stays the same, so 1/2 plus 3/4 is really 5/4, okay? And if you're trying to put 5/4 on the number line, remember that that's the same thing as 1 and 1/4, and so it would go right about there, okay? So hopefully this went okay for you guys. We'll make up some more cool stuff at tutorials, and yay, that's it for week 1. Easy peasy, right? Hopefully.